Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today because we have some very exciting General Hospital news to talk about, and it's definitely worth the wait. Oh, man, let me tell you, I've been glued to General Hospital longer than I've had gray hairs on my head, and right now the show is cooking up more fireworks than the 4th of July down at the county fair. I just caught wind of some fresh leaks that got my old heart racing like a hound dog on a coon hunt, and I figured I'd better sit right down and share it with y'all before my head spins clean off. Word on the street is there's some real heartbreak headed straight for Jack Brennan, that steady Chris McKenna fella, and it's got me feeling for the poor guy already. From what my sources are whispering, Brennan walks in at the worst possible moment and catches Valentine right there in bed with Carly. Can you imagine? The man shocked clean down to his boots, madder than a wet hen, and now it looks like we're fixing to see one heck of a showdown between those two. They're both gunning for the same woman, and let me tell you, Carly sure does know how to keep a whole string of fellas lined up at her door. Bless her heart, that girl's had more lovers than a small-town church has covered dish suppers. I've watched her story for years, and every time I think she's finally settled, she stirs the pot all over again. It's like she was born with a magnet in her pocket that just draws trouble, and handsome trouble at that, but that's not even the half of it. There's big talk swirling around Maxie Jones, too, and I'm telling you, whatever's coming her way feels heavy. On top of that, there's another important character who's about to make a big exit from Port Charles, and my gut tells me it's going to leave a hole in the story you could drive a truck through. You know how these soaps do it? They pull at your heartstrings until you're reaching for the tissue box on the coffee table. And here's the part that really perked me up. One of those kids we haven't laid eyes on in years is coming back all grown up. Can you believe it? Time sure does fly, doesn't it? We watched that little one toddling around the set back when, and now they're saying the character's returning as a full-grown adult. The casting rumors are flying thicker than gnats on a summer evening, and I'm dying to know who they're going to pick for the role. There are names being tossed around, and every time I hear a new one, I start picturing how it'll fit into the family and what kind of fresh trouble they'll bring with them. Now listen, before we get too carried away, I got to be straight with you like I always am. These are just leaks. Folks, juicy ones, sure, but still rumors. My sources have been pretty good to me over the years. Remember how they tipped me off about Sam McCall's killer weeks before Cyrus Renault's name even came up? They nailed that one. But they're not perfect. Sometimes the details contradict each other, so I always say take it with a grain of salt and a little sweet tea on the side. Still, I can't help it. I love these juicy spoilers. They get my mind spinning about what's coming next, and there's nothing better than sitting here wondering how the writers are going to tie all these threads together without breaking our hearts too bad. So pull up your favorite chair, maybe grab a cup of coffee or that sweet tea I mentioned, and let's chew on this together. What do you reckon is going to happen with Brennan and Carly and all that mess? How do you think Maxie's going to handle whatever storm is headed her way? And that grown-up kid coming home, Lord, I hope they cast someone who feels like they belong in Port Charles. I'm all ears, friends. These leaks have me hooked tighter than ever, and I can't wait to see how it all plays out on screen. Y'all stay tuned with me, okay? We'll keep watching and wondering together, just like old times. From what both of my sources are saying, we're looking at 3 to 5 characters leaving Port Charles in the months ahead, and not all of them are just packing bags and moving on. Some are going to leave for good, the kind of exits that stay with you long after the credits roll. The one that really tugs at my heartstrings is what they're saying about Jack Brennan. Chris McKenna has brought so much to that role, and now it looks like his time on the show is coming to an end. Both sources are confirming he's headed for a permanent goodbye. I first caught wind of this a while back, but then everything got delayed. Finola Hughes needed a nice long break, so Anna Devane stepped away, and that pushed the whole big WSB storyline back a few months. That actually gave Jack some extra time on screen, and I was happy about it because I've grown to like the man. But now the clock is ticking again. They're telling me Brennan is going to get a heroic death with real redemption in his final days. After everything he's been mixed up in, I sure hope the writers let him go out strong as a guy who finally makes things right and earns a little peace before he leaves us. That kind of ending would feel earned, you know? Not every character gets to bow out with dignity, but Jack deserves it. Just this week, the story has been heating up fast. Sounds like Jocelyn Jax is about to warn Jack about her mama Carly's affair with Valentine. That girl loves her mother more than anything, so I don't think she'd ever do something that would really get Carly in serious trouble with the law. But still, can you imagine the look on Brennan's face when he hears it? He already walked in and caught them in bed together, and the man was madder than a wet hen. Last week, we saw Brennan and Valentine come face to face, and the tension between them was so thick you could cut it with a butter knife. Two proud, stubborn men fighting over the same woman, with years of bad blood and hurt feelings boiling over. It's pure old school soap opera, the kind that keeps me glued to the screen every single afternoon. Carly Spencer has always had a special way with men, bless her heart. She's had more romances than most of us have Sunday dinners, and somehow she keeps landing smack in the middle of these storms. I've watched her grow up on this show, seen her make mistakes, try to fix them, fall down and get back up again. I can't help rooting for her even when she's causing all kinds of trouble. But this time it feels heavier than usual. Real consequences are coming, and poor Jocelyn is stuck right there in the middle again, carrying more family secrets on her young shoulders than any girl her age should have to. I keep thinking about how all these threads are weaving together. One man's heartbreak turns into another man's revenge, while a mother and daughter try their best to hold the family together. It's messy, it's painful, and Lord knows that's exactly why we've been watching for all these years. Now, like I always tell you, these are still just rumors, friends. My sources have been pretty solid before they tipped me off about Sam McCall's killer weeks before Cyrus Renault's name even came up, but they're not perfect. Sometimes the details change, sometimes the writers shift plans, so take it all with a big grain of salt and maybe a slice of pie while you're at it. Still, I can't help feeling a little sad about Brennan. He brought something strong and steady to Port Charles, and if this really is his exit, I hope they give Chris McKenna the powerful final scenes he deserves so we can all say a proper goodbye. At the end of the day, that's what keeps me coming back after all these decades. These characters start feeling like family, the ones you laugh with, fuss at, and sometimes shed a tear over when their time comes. Port Charles has seen hundreds of hellos and goodbyes, but some of them just hit different. If Jack Brennan really does get that heroic death with redemption at the end, I'll be sitting right here with my coffee, tissues ready, proud of the journey he took. So tell me, how are you feeling about all this? You hoping the rumors turn out wrong and Jack gets to stick around longer? Or do you think a strong, noble exit would be the right way for him to go? And what about Carly? You think she'll come through this mess like she always does? So tell me, how are you feeling about all this? Are you hoping these rumors turn out to be wrong and Jack gets to stick around a good while longer? Or do you think a strong, noble, heroic exit would be the right way for his story to close? What about Carly and the mess she's created? Do you think she'll come through it like she usually does, or is this the one that finally catches up with her? And how do you feel about Jocelyn being pulled into the middle of it all? Pull up your chair, pour yourself something cool, and let's keep chatting. I'll be right here watching every episode with you. These stories might be make-believe, but the way they touch our hearts is real as rain. We'll ride through the heartbreak together, just like we always have. Can't wait to see what happens next, and I'll share more the minute I hear anything fresh. Y'all take care now, and God bless.